Hey, this is a good one. Let's decide if this is seller fraud.
Okay, so I didn't want to bring this to TikTok, but I genuinely need help or advice from someone who's been through maybe something similar as us. Please excuse my stuttering, as this whole thing has just been such a nightmare and causing me so much stress and anxiety. For context, my husband and I, we bought our first home on May 1st this year. We moved in early June, and within weeks, things started to go wrong. It started with poor airflow and a leak. We thought, okay, maybe it's a simple AC issue, but no. Turns out we had rodents in the attic who had actually chewed through all 7 of our air ducts. This resulted in thousands of dollars in damages, and that's just the beginning. We then had
That's really bad. Rodents in the attic. I wonder if it's squirrels or mice or raccoons, but I guess it really doesn't matter. No matter what, it's a problem.
the HVAC and pest control companies brought in. They were the ones who noticed the bigger issue, our roof. We had multiple leaks, water damage, rusted nails, shingles that don't even match. And the worst part of this whole thing, we did have a home inspection. We knew to get that, and only one leak was mentioned in the report. We made sure to ask the seller to fix it, which she agreed to, and she sent out her roofer to take care of it. We
Okay, a roof leak and the seller agreeing to fix it. So far, this makes sense, but I have a feeling there's more coming.
thought it was resolved before closing and before we moved in. Unfortunately, after we moved in, we discovered multiple leaks in the attic. We reached out to the seller again. She then sent out the same roofer, and that's when everything shifted.
All right, that's interesting that she reached out to the seller after closing. The seller actually responded. That's not always the case. All right, so far so good.
I have my doorbell camera. I have footage of him actually telling me right there at my front door that when the seller bought the house herself before flipping it to us, he told her the roof was going and actually needed to be replaced. Instead, she had him patch it up. Um, and here's the kicker: the seller is a big or a realtor in our community.
So that's a huge problem. So it sounds like it was a flip, so she never lived there. At least that's what's implied here. Um, if the agent is a investor at the same time, it's almost like every move you make in real estate is if I'm going to sell or buy a piece of real estate as a licensed agent, I'm kind of under the microscope and I have a higher level of responsibility and ethics to adhere to because I do understand the industry.
This was a flip for her. When we closed, she gave us a list of improvements, but didn't disclose the roof issues,
Okay, it was a
which
flip.
by Florida law she was supposed to. We then brought in a
Hey, by New Jersey law too, and I would bet by most law, if you're filling out a seller's disclosure and you are aware of roof repairs, you do have to fix it. Uh, However, if it is a flip, what I have seen, because the seller has never actually lived in the house, they may not be able to answer some of those questions accurately.
third party licensed roofer who did an inspection on the roof, and his report was that the roof should have never passed the initial home inspection or qualified for insurance. The repair
That is a big thing right now, guys, just so you know that if roofs are older, when your insurance company, your homeowner's insurance company comes around the house to kind of validate your policy or check on your house if you've been living there for a while, they are getting very particular regarding the condition of roofs.
that were done by the seller's roofer was garbage, and of course, our home inspector missed all of it. Yes, there were even rodent droppings and damaged ductwork pictured in the home inspection report that we just didn't know how to interpret when we saw the report. It wasn't made mention. And we just had trusted that that's why we hire inspectors, to be able to say, hey, this is kind of what's going on. You might want to hire a professional.
Yeah, that's a really common thing. So when a home inspector sees something in a house, keep in mind that a home inspector is a person who knows a little bit about a lot of stuff. And oftentimes they will note something, and that requires a certain specialty to come in. So they may see something that looks like mold or microbial substance, but they don't know for sure that it is mold. But then they bring in, or they suggest that you bring in a mold specialist. Maybe there's something funky going on with the plumbing. They can note a type of concern, but they may not know exactly what the fix is or to what degree this needs to be addressed.
We reached out to the inspector about everything, but apparently, when we signed the contract to hire him, we waived our rights to sue him.
Yeah, that's a pretty common thing, I think, that the verbiage from the home inspectors basically kind of gives up rights. Although I've seen lawsuits anyway still come up. It's just one of those things. What I really want to know here is, was the were they represented by this agent as well? That's a big question, because then there could be a tremendous conflict of interest. And where did the name of the home inspector come from? So was the seller also the buyer's agent and also the person who recommended the home inspector?
We've talked to a lawyer, but pursuing this legally could cost us as much as replacing the roof, and nothing's guaranteed.
Yeah.
The roof alone will cost us $11,000. We've just paid $500 out of our own pockets just to tarp it because we can't afford to fix it yet.
Yeah, but here's the big thing, and this is really, really important. If in a legal matter around this, they can prove consumer fraud, that this buyer was intentionally defrauded, then the damages may be tripled.
Um, our last option, it seems, is small claims court representing ourselves, and I'm frankly just overwhelmed,
Yeah,
scared, and exhausted.
thanks.
And so my question is have you ever taken a seller to small claims court in Florida? Did you win? What helped? I'm not a lawyer, just a new homeowner who feels completely taken advantage of. So I'm wondering if anyone out there has been through this. I would genuinely appreciate any guidance. I wouldn't be posting if I didn't feel like we were out of options. Thank you for listening.
This is a really difficult situation for her. There's a lot of unanswered questions too, right? Like, who recommended the home inspector? There are great home inspectors out there, and there are others that are not so great. And who represented her? Was it this seller? Was the seller also the buyer's agent? That's a big piece here too. That kind of stinks, big time. But she should definitely speak to another very qualified real estate attorney who does litigation. A lot of real estate attorneys don't do litigation. She needs to find someone who does and have a consultation with that person to flush out some of those questions and see if there is any recourse. See you guys on the next one.